What's up, guys? Welcome to the third installment of the Home Networks YouTube series. Today we're actually going to switch things up a little bit. We're not going to do any player profiles today. I'm actually really excited, though, to bring you guys an interview I just did with Vince DiIorio. Vince is a former coach and staff member at RBI and has since pursued a career as a registered nurse and is currently at Sturdy Memorial Hospital. So he's bringing us some perspective as a nurse right on the front lines of things right now. As a former athlete, he was a baseball player and a boxer and has some pretty good insight into how that's helped him deal with currently what's going on. And, you know, it's just an overall good interview. Vin's a great guy. He's sorely missed at RBI, but obviously chose a very admirable career path to pursue after his time with us 6 years ago. And so I'm really just happy to be able to bring this to you. I want everybody out there to stay safe. I want you guys to understand the importance of what's going on, as I'm sure you obviously do, but the precautions you need to take and why we're all doing what we're doing right now. And I think Vinny provides some good insight. So enjoy. Any questions, feedbacks, comments, comment below in the YouTube page, and look forward to hearing from everybody soon. All right, guys, I'm here with Vince DiIorio, formerly of RBI fame. Now it's currently an RN at the emergency room at Sturdy Memorial Hospital in Attleboro. Figured he'd give some good perspective here to the current situation and be able to help out some of our baseball players. Vinny, how you doing today, bud?
Great. And got a day off. A little exhausted, but
I believe it, man. I believe it. I love the Mariners hat too.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah.
So Vinny was a full-time employee of RBI years ago. He left to pursue a career as an RN. That's worked out really well for him. So I figured I'd have him provide a little insight into what's going on. Obviously, as a former baseball player, former boxer, he can kind of understand what some of you guys are going through. So Vinny, can you just give us a little history of what you've done since, I think, 2012?
Yeah, sure. So since leaving RBI full time, obviously, went back to school, got my nursing degree. Actually, kind of blended the two because I played for the team while I was in nursing school, which was awesome. And then, right after school, waited a few months and actually joined on one of the former softball instructors at RBI,
Yep.
Andrea, and joined her in the emergency room at Sturdy. So I've been there for June will be 5 years now.
That's crazy.
And it's kind of all I know. I haven't worked anywhere else.
That's awesome, man. Yeah, that's crazy how things come full circle there. That's
Yeah.
awesome. How's the current situation over there at Sturdy? I mean, is there, obviously this is unique to everyone, but obviously you're trained as best you can to it. But what's the current situation like?
Yeah. So, I mean, it's a different world right now in the emergency room for sure. It kind of, one day I showed up and it was like everybody has to wear an eye protection and mask at all times, whether you're at the nursing station or in a patient room. You get to take it off in your 12 hours when you eat lunch for a half hour. So, I mean, it's totally different than what it used to be. We're using equipment that I was trained on once a year. That's the only time I ever put it on. Now it's a daily thing. It's multiple patients need it. So it's a totally different world. We've divided our ER into hot zones and cold zones, and the hot zone is burning up. That's the like COVID only section, and it's a lot of work.
That's scary stuff, man. Obviously, all of us out here are really appreciative of your efforts and really appreciate what you're doing there. I mean, to keep everybody as safe as you can. I think, how do you feel? You were also a boxer growing up and baseball player. How do you feel baseball and boxing and sports in general kind of helped prepare you for this type of pressure?
I mean, it's immensely, actually. I mean, honestly, with any sport that you play, being in that team environment, the relationships that you build, and there's a thing in sports. It's kind of a cliche that you play for the person next to you. You play for your teammates rather than just your individual self, and that carries you into whatever career that you choose. In nursing, and especially during this time, I mean, it rings so true. You know, I mean, it's a whole team that's doing things. I mean, you know, we need a whole team of people to care for one patient, you know, whether it's the doctors, it's the respiratory therapists, it's the nurses, it's registration, it's the people that clean the rooms. I mean, we need everybody to do that. Just like on a field or a court or a rink, you need all of your teammates working together towards one goal.
That's awesome advice, man. I mean, that's also, it's something that we preach obviously to our guys in terms of the baseball career will eventually end, but your professional career will continue somewhere else. And I think it's awesome to hear you say that, especially in a situation that's so unique to the world right now. Kind of off the wall question, but a lot of our players are at home. They're doing their home workouts. They're lifting, they're throwing, they're hitting. What do you recommend if someone does get an injury? I mean, obviously everyone's a little bit afraid to be near the emergency rooms and urgent care centers right now, and understandably so. What kind of advice do you have for somebody that might have an injury at home?
Yeah, I mean, so depending on the injury, depending on the severity of it, I mean, there's obviously ones that are going to be more severe. You know, if you end up breaking something or something really bad goes on, there are situations that you can't avoid going to an emergency room. But I'd say for the most part, I mean, maybe call your doctor, consult with someone, let them know what's going on, let them know how you're feeling. You know, is it swelling up? You know, they can give you some advice, even over the phone. Check in with them. You could probably send them pictures of things, you know what I mean? But ultimately, if you end up having to go into an emergency room, wouldn't be a bad idea to throw on a mask and go get an x-ray or whatever it is, whatever kind of treatment that you need.
Yeah, that's good advice. I mean, obviously in sports in general, there's always an inherent risk no matter what you're doing, no matter how safe you're being. So that's good advice. Lastly, while I have you, Vinny, and I really appreciate your time, man. I know your time is valuable, especially right now. I can imagine you're probably looking to get some sleep. But I see some of our players out there, the government and, the governor has obviously issued some orders to stay at home, 6 feet, social distancing. Do you have any advice out there for some of our kids that may be pushing those limits a little bit?
Yes. I mean, this thing, it's tough because it's not something you can see and you can touch, and but it's out there and it's real and it's dangerous. And it's so important to stay home, stay with your family. Being outside, they say that the being 6 feet apart is okay. And me personally, I don't believe that. They say that, the virus is an airborne thing, and there's no way if you're outside in the wind that this airborne particles are going to be heavy enough to cut through the wind and fall to the ground in 6 feet. There's no way. The best thing you can do is stay home, stay away from people, because these young guys playing baseball, young, healthy, most of them, 99% of them, are, if they happen to catch this, are going to be able to fight it off. But I mean, they may be living with someone, with some kind of underlying medical conditions that it's going to be much harder for them to fight off. So think about who you're around, not just yourself. Just like we said, play for the person next to you, play for your family, do the things right for your family and the people that you live with. That's the most important thing.
That's great advice, man. I mean, I think that, we're all in this together, and we're here to support you and the great work you're doing. We really appreciate everything, Vinny. I know I'll hang on here and want to catch up with you a little bit more, but we all miss you. Papa misses you especially.
Yeah, I miss you guys too.
But,
I just friended Pupper on Facebook, so we're staying in touch.
That'll give you hours of entertainment to kill.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Thanks, Vinny, man. I appreciate it.
Absolutely, no problem.
All right, brother.